Man, I'm hungry. I really want to eat some cells. Oh, welcome back to Ooey Gooey and today Delicious Science. We're going to make some cells and we are going to eat them because cells are delicious. Now we know, because we read the text, there are two kinds of cells. There's prokaryotic cells. See, my picture looks kind of like a germ. They're very simple cells with no nucleus. Bacteria is an example, and that picture looks like bacteria. And there's another kind of cell that's even more delicious, and in a minute you'll see why. Eukaryotic cells are more complex cells with a nucleus and organelles. Most plant and animal cells are examples. So, before I can eat these delicious cells, I need to make these delicious cells, and that means I need to gather up some ingredients. So let's look at what ingredients we'll be using today to make our cells. Oh, we know that cells have different parts in them. The different parts of cells are called organelles. Organelles are things inside the cell that have their own membrane and a special job to do. And these are the organelles that we're going to be including today. All right, we're going to have some cell membrane. It goes around the outside of the cells and controls what goes in and out. And to make our cell membrane, you will need some delicious crescent rolls from the grocery store. We're going to have some cytoplasm, which is a jello-like substance that fills the cell and cushions what's inside. And for our cytoplasm today, we have some delicious Nutella. I got the generic kind. You can use generic, or you can use the brand name Nutella kind. Another thing I've seen people use is frosting for that. We're going to have some ribosomes. These are little tiny organelles. See how small my little chocolate chips are? Very tiny, but they're powerful. They're like factories, and they create proteins for the cell to use. We know when we eat protein, we get stronger. Well, cells are the same way. They need their proteins, and that comes from their ribosomes. Ribosomes are very tiny. They're like little tiny dots. So we're going to make our ribosomes with chocolate chips. And on this side, we have the biggest and possibly most delicious organelle, which is the nucleus. It's the brain of the cell. It tells all the organelles what to do. And to make our nucleus today, we are going to use a big, delicious cookie. And last but not least, we have the powerhouse of the cell. That's the mitochondria. It turns food into energy for the cell. And we're going to use some Reese's Pieces for this today. Or if you prefer, you can use M&Ms. All right, let's make our delicious cells. The first thing you will need is you will need to go ahead and open up the crescent rolls tube for your cell membrane and pull out all the delicious cell membrane goodness that is inside. I'll put this over here. We remember the cell membrane goes around the outside of the cell. So let's put that down. That'll be the outside of our cell. I have to open it up. And I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to put them on here kind of like a pizza. If they're all stretched out, that's okay. They will still be delicious. Now maybe you notice that most of these are going to my eukaryotic cell. And the reason for that is because eukaryotic cells may be small to us people, but they're actually very big for cells. Eukaryotes are very large, so most of our cell membrane is going to go to these larger cells. So I'm going to go ahead and pull and stretch this into kind of a circle. We know that cells are mostly round, but they can also be kind of blob-shaped or stretchy. They can be all different shapes, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So here's my cell, my eukaryotic cell. There's a cell membrane. And now my prokaryotic cell, this is still too much. That's my prokaryotic cell. That's all that it is. So if you notice, you look at the pans, you can see my eukaryotic cell is simply huge. It's got to have room for all these organelles. And my prokaryotic cell, tiny, because prokaryotes are very, very small. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video while I stick these in the oven and bake them up, and then we'll decorate our cells with some delicious and nutritious organelles. This looks good. What do we have? Let's review what we've got here. This little tiny champion right here, this is my prokaryotic cell. We know prokaryotic, pro rhymes with no, so it has no nucleus, and we notice that it is very, very small. Over here, this is the one I want to eat. This is the eukaryotic cell. Eu rhymes with do, which means the eukaryotic cells do have a nucleus. So these ones we see are very large and very delicious. So let's review what part of the cell this represents. So this was made with our crescent rolls, and that is representing our cell membrane. And just like the picture shows a line that goes around the outside, the cell membrane goes around the outside. It protects the cell. Just like how this looks kind of like a pizza crust, it's going to keep all the good stuff in. Let's add some more parts to our cells now. We know that cells have inside of them a cytoplasm. See that jelly little man? He's got two little eyeballs over there. This is the cytoplasm. It's kind of like Jell-O. It fills up the inside of the cell. And we are going to use some Nutella to be the cytoplasm of our cell. So the text said, cytoplasm fills up the inside. So I'm going to take a knife or a spatula, something for spreading, and I'm just going to spread it all around on the inside. Cell's got a lot of cytoplasm, so I'm going to use a lot. And that looks like some delicious cytoplasm on a scrumptious cell membrane. This is delicious. Put some more cytoplasm up here. It fills up the inside. So now the inside's all full. We know that eukaryotic cells, they have a cytoplasm, and prokaryotic cells, they might be small, but they still have a little dab of cytoplasm right there in the middle. All right, so what did we do so far? Our cell membrane is this crust. It goes around the outside and it protects what's inside. It holds it all together. Our cytoplasm is this delicious Nutella. This goes on the inside and it's ooey gooey and squishy like Jell-O. We see our prokaryotic cell has no nucleus, is very small. And our eukaryotic cell, they do have a nucleus and they're much larger. We need to add some more good stuff to our cells. Now I think you're going to notice another difference between our eukaryotic cell and our prokaryotic cell. So far we just know the eukaryotic cell is larger, but there's another difference. We said that if it's a eukaryote, eu rhymes with do, eukaryotes do have a nucleus. And we remember the nucleus is like the brain. It tells the other organelles what to do. So on my eukaryote, I'm going to add a delicious and nutritious nucleus right there. It's on the inside of the cytoplasm. That's my nucleus. That's the brain. Does the prokaryotic cell get one? No. Prokaryotic cells, pro rhymes with no, there is no nucleus. Let's add some more organelles. This delicious Reese's Pieces, or you could also use M&Ms. These are my mitochondria. Mitochondria turns food into energy. Reese's Pieces give me energy. And eukaryotic cells have tons of these guys. They could have thousands of them if they're big enough. So I'll put lots and lots of mitochondria on here. That looks good. What are these Reese Pieces? They're called mitochondria, and they're the powerhouse of the cell. They give it energy. Now you might notice I use all my mitochondria. There's a reason for that. The reason is because my poor lonely prokaryotic cell has no mitochondria in it. Only eukaryotic cells have those. The last organelle for the day is very small. They're called ribosomes. Ribosomes are like factories that make energy and protein for the cell. We know that protein makes us strong, and it's the same way for cells. So our ribosomes are going to be these little tiny chocolate chips. And I'm going to put lots and lots of chocolate chips on because my cell needs a lot of protein. It uses protein for almost everything that it does. Oh, I cannot wait to eat this. What are those chocolate chips? They stand for ribosomes. Ribosomes make protein. Now all I have left in my hand are 3 more ribosomes. Prokaryotic cells sometimes have ribosomes, but only 1 or 2 or sometimes 3. So here's my prokaryotic cell. It has a cell membrane, it has a cytoplasm, and it has a couple of ribosomes because they need protein too. And then this makes me hungry. This is my eukaryotic cell. It has a cell membrane. It has cytoplasm all on the inside. It has a big tasty nucleus. It has mitochondria. They give it energy. And lots and lots and lots of ribosomes. They give it protein. Which cell would you like to eat more? I hope you get an opportunity to make this delicious recipe that goes together with cellular biology, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Have a wonderful rest of your week.